Hello, friends. Welcome to Multiverse with Chandrakant. And today, which celestial body we want to discuss? That's right, friends. That is Neptune. It is quite far from Earth, and to reach there, we have to get into our imaginary spacecraft, and we will get into the orbit and discuss 10 most interesting facts about Neptune. So, without further ado, let's climb into our spacecraft. And here we are. We have actually docked our spacecraft in the orbit, and through the window we are watching it. And as you can see, this is live. The Neptune is moving around slowly in space. What is the first fact? Well, Neptune is such a far away planet, and it takes so much time to make one rotation around Sun. uh, if it makes 3 rotation, it is comparable only to next planet next door after Neptune, which makes 2. So you can imagine, Neptune moves so slowly, and since it is very far off, it has a very uh, large orbit around the Sun. What is the next fact? Well, believe it or not, like anything else in the entire solar system, everything is named after the Roman gods, but not Neptune. Neptune's moon are actually Greek gods. So, if you remember, I covered that Uranus is also named after a Greek god. So, this is also something unique. It's a fact which you must remember, that everything else in the solar system is named after the Roman gods, but the moons specifically were named after Greek gods. What next? Well, we all know that Neptune is blue in color, and initially, scientists thought that this is another planet, watery planet, just like Earth, and but because of being blue, it doesn't mean that it has a lot of water. So, after further analysis, it was found that there is a presence of methane which absorbs all other light, but let go the blue wavelength of the visible light, and that is why Neptune appears bluish just like Earth, but it is not because of water or atmosphere. It is because of the presence of methane. By the way, methane is only 1% in the entire atmosphere. It is mostly consists of hydrogen and helium, but even that 1% create this bluish color and gives this bluish color to the planet. Let's go to the next one. Well, Neptune has a very large moon, and it's called Triton. And the surprising fact about Triton is that it actually goes around in the opposite direction. It like all other moons goes in one direction, and this body goes around in the other direction. And this only shows that it did not originate the Neptunian system naturally. It probably was a dwarf planet which was acquired by Neptune, and because of that, it is in a retrograde orbit. And because of this retrograde orbit, it is actually coming closer as the time passes. It is coming closer to Neptune, and this Neptune is eventually going to break this large moon apart, forming another ring system, a temporary ring system around Neptune, which eventually then fall into the bigger planet. So Triton is showing signs of a lot of tectonic activity because of the gravitational pull exerted by Neptune. And as I said, this is going spiraling down inwards into the planet, and one day the Triton will disappear. It's a pretty large satellite. It probably was a dwarf planet. It has and it is going around in a retrograde, and that is why there is a lot of pressure on the surface, on the planet itself, and the internals of the this body satellite of Neptune get a lot of pressure, gravitational pressure from the large planet like Neptune. What next? Well, believe it or not, Neptune has the second largest gravitational force in the solar system after Jupiter. And this is a very important feature to remember, because that means Neptune is much heavier than Uranus, and Neptune is further out, and it is classified as an ice giant because of the cold temperature, and since it is so far off, the sun heat does not reach there. So, in spite of being so far, and in spite of being an ice giant, there are a lot of material inside Neptune, and that makes it quite heavy, and that creates extra gravity. And it is number two in the entire solar system in terms of planet, because number one is sun, of course. But when we talk about planets, uh, Neptune has the second largest gravitational force in the solar system after Jupiter. What next? Well, winds are pretty fast on planet Neptune. On an average, 1,200 miles per hour. It's so fast, and this is a natural, it's a normal phenomena. Um Scientists found that there was a dark spot few years back, and it was just like a great red spot on Jupiter. The dark spot on Neptune was a cyclone where the winds were reported of about 1,500 miles per hour, but now it has disappeared. So the normal wind velocity on Neptune is 1,200 miles per hour, which is very high. It is like 20 times higher than the strongest hurricane that you find on Earth. So that is why this is something amazing, because this is something which even if you try to explore Neptune, there is you can't make a spacecraft which can withstand this kind of wind and turbulence on Neptune. And by the way, this is a big secret. What creates such high velocity winds? Because there is not sun. Because unlike Earth, the cyclones are created because of the heat absorbed from sun. But in Neptune, what creates this kind of weather system? It's something that we need further analysis. So let's go to the next one. Uh, well, since Neptune is pretty large, and because of that, when you land on the in the atmosphere, you will experience the gravity just like very similar to Earth. So uh, this is something which is again remarkable, because if you just land and float around in the upper atmosphere, then you will experience just 10% more gravity than the surface of the Earth. So suppose you weigh 100 kilograms on Earth, you will weigh about 110 kilograms in the upper atmosphere of the Neptune planet. What next? Well, Neptune goes around in a slightly elliptical orbit, and the angle of ellipse is slightly more than the other planets. So, because of this, a lot of studies have been done, and it appears that something large is pulling Neptune and disturbing it from outside the solar system. So, that has given this kind of phenomena has given a lot of speculation about a larger planet existing out there. And it's not only Neptune, even Pluto's orbit is affected, and it is getting pulled in one direction. So the plane of the Neptune and Pluto are getting weirder, and all other objects outside beyond Pluto are also in a very highly elliptical orbit. So it appears there is a planet 9 estimated to be around 10 times the mass of Earth, floating around somewhere out there, which is affecting the orbit of Neptune. So this is an interesting fact that looking at the movement around the sun, the scientists can predict there could be another body outside in the solar system. The next fact is, believe it or not, even Neptune has a ring system, but it is not as magnificent as the Saturn. It has a very dull 5 ring system, and probably these five ring system created by the disintegrated moons, um, just like we are speculating Triton will become a ring system eventually, a temporary ring system, not a permanent one, and will disappear eventually inside the planet. So we have come to the end of our facts, 10 interesting facts about Neptune. Hope you liked the video today, and if you like, drop in your comments, drop in your suggestions, and we will take up those comments in our next episode of Multiverse. Till then, for today, I like to say goodbye, only to catch you again in the next session. Bye bye.